What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. The Yankees won another series. They have the best record in Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
I just hate it, Scott, when the last...
when things are good so that you can
No, that's
don't have
not
to
what I
talk
was
about
going to
it?
say.
Oh, okay.
When the last game of the series ends
Yeah.
the way it did, because it
Right.
leaves a sour taste in your mouth. The reality is this team is 12-4. They took 2 out of 3, including sweeping a doubleheader this weekend in Cleveland against Cleveland, who was
hard-
having a good season so far. But
Which is hard to do, sweeping doubleheaders.
yeah, but there's still some things to talk about with this team, and just like yesterday afternoon, how that game ended, how that they came back, and then how that game fell apart. It's kind of a microcosm for some of the issues going on with this team, but they're not resulting for the most part in losses because, again, 12-4 record. So everyone is probably like, Andrew, shut up, stop complaining. But you know what? I can't, okay? That's just not in my nature. I can't follow a sports season and just rah, rah, yay, wee, wins. Like, it's not how I'm wired. So I'm always going to look for things that are wrong and how this team can improve. I'm always going to do that. Sorry. If you don't like it, you've not been listening to the show for many years at this point.
Well, the thing is too, we talk about the good things, and we will absolutely talk about the good things because there's a lot of good things named Anthony Volpe, and the season that this guy is having, and Juan Soto, who will hit the ball out of the ballpark. He will go the opposite way. He'll go stick to stick, and then he'll lay down a bunt when given the opportunity because the defense is playing back. I love him. I absolutely love him. I love him, and I love Volpe very much.
Do you know what
the love fest to Juan Soto continues with that, minus the base running blunder, where he just for some reason was as far off the bag as he was on a routine fly ball. I don't know what the hell he was doing or where he was looking, but
yeah, and then when Naylor was playing first base, right, and like that's not blocking the bag, like that that was the right call. But I was talking with someone
on
yesterday.
Principle, it was the right call, frankly, because he was so far off the bag.
And you know what? Principle should be how some calls are judged. Just like, no, you were stupid, you deserve to be out. Yeah. I was talking with someone yesterday. I saw some friends in Brooklyn yesterday, so we were just catching up, and they were like, "So Juan Soto is like everything as advertised, right?" I'm like, actually, more, because from afar, you obviously knew the talent of Juan Soto, but what I didn't realize is that he plays like he's a 32-year-old veteran. Like, he's got that mentality, he's got that baseball IQ. Obviously, he takes walks. He's got some of the best pitch recognition and plate discipline that I've ever seen. But like you said, he'll lay down a bunt, and he's a really smart baseball player. But the beauty is he's got the body of a 25-year-old phenom. So he's got like the brain of a 32-year-old veteran, but then he can execute on the field like he's 25 years old and about to enter his prime. It's really like this rare combination that comes around. Like you saw it with Mike Trout. You see it every
this is where
decades.
The term generational talent is applied and applicable. It's thrown on way too much these days.
It's not just talent, though. It's like,
but he is that guy.
Yeah, but it's talent mixed with that mentality and that baseball IQ that not everyone on this team has, barring the base running blunder. Let's give him a pass on that one, I guess.
Yeah, he's got a pass for sure on that one. It was probably something that he saw that nobody else saw, that was an advantage, and it just didn't work out. Like, maybe that guy drops 63% of his balls that are swirling in the air that he has to come in on more than 10 feet. I don't know.
Didn't the ball go like it went super high? It was like
the ball was really high. Shouldn't matter as much, but yes. But yeah, 12-4, best record in baseball. Yankees in first place, and they got a whole bunch of young kids, including the newest addition to the Orioles, Jackson Holliday, up, at their heels. That's going to be a fun one when they get to play the Orioles for the first time, because they have an insane amount of kids. And oh, by the way, the other thing about the Orioles, if you look into their minor leagues in AAA, up until last week, right before Holliday was called up, they're the Norfolk Tides. So I've seen that it's a beautiful stadium, Harbor Park, and it's a cool baseball experience. But that team was like lapping the field 2 over in home runs, in OPS, in average, like the amount of runs that they're scoring. They still have 3 or 4 kids down in AAA who are mashing the ball. So this team is so far from just emptying the tank on their on their young players too, that at some point, trade deadline or even into the offseason, they're going to unload and get a whole bunch of pitching, I would expect.
The Yankees play Baltimore for the first time at the end of the month, 4-game road trip in Baltimore, starting April 29th. And then I'm looking at the schedule and I don't see the Yankees don't play the Orioles again until a 3-game homestand in the middle of June. So, I mean, usually, I guess with the balanced schedule, we're just used to seeing so many in-division games where it's like, it seems like every other week they're playing one of the division teams at home or on the road, but that's less of the case now. But we'll worry about the Orioles in a couple weeks when the Yankees are about to play them. You mentioned Volpe, and he's been, other than Soto, just the extreme bright spot in this lineup. And he continues to be a force at the plate. Right now on the season, he's got a 199 OPS plus, hitting 382, 477, 564. Since moving to the leadoff hitter, he's 6 for 15, which is a 400 batting average, and he's got 5 walks. So I'm sure there were some concerns among fans, like, oh, he's going to put unneeded pressure on himself, or he's going to turn into a different hitter, or we're going to see him revert back into some bad ways that we saw last year as soon as he gets moved to the leadoff spot. But he's been the exact same, if not better, since moving to the leadoff spot. And I don't know when we're going to stop saying small sample size. At some point soon, we'll stop saying small sample size, but there's no reason to move him out of the leadoff spot, no matter who comes back to this team, DJ LeMahieu, anyone else, whoever comes back. As far as I'm concerned, this is pretty much Volpe's job going forward, is leadoff hitter.
100%. This is, and when you look at the most glaring number here, Logan put this, the chart in our chat here of where he lands in a lot of the
strikeout percentage. So
extended batting average. Yeah. The strikeout percentage is wild, 13.6. And last year he was 19th percentile in baseball at 27.8. That means he's cut it in half, which is a crazy hard thing to do. And the fact that, he's, this has been 3 weeks of baseball with him, and he's got this. It's a good sample size right now. It's a good little run that he's been on, and he just has a different approach. And the fact that he's striking out at such a low clip is amazing. It really is. So it's a much faster, bigger jump than I was expecting. I expected him to take a jump, but not this fast, not as much of a drastic, turnaround in the offense. This is the guy that we were hoping he could become, but multiply that by a couple, because it's even better. So he's been fun to watch.
What I was hoping for going in is that those couple of hot spurts we saw last season, he was able to extend those for longer and not go into those long extended slumps and just be so inconsistent. But the stretch he's been on right now to start the season is way better than any hot stint he had last year. It's not even close. So we're seeing a completely different hitter at the plate, not just like batting stance wise. Like the Yes broadcast has dissected how his batting stance is different and how his approach to the plate has changed a bit, but just the pitch recognition seems to be much better. Swinging at strikes seems to be much better. Hitting strikes hard seems to be much better. Like, I know we were talking in chat yesterday on his game tying double. You were like, oh, the outfielder took like a really bad route to the ball.
It was a shitty route. It probably would have been caught normally if he just played
That's
the ball.
True.
Like he should have.
I think Logan dropped in our chat that it was a 390 expected batting average on that, which is, I mean, that's still pretty high expected batting average, but he did hit the ball really hard.
He did
in that instance. So you can't just say it's not like he just popped the ball up to right field and the outfielder took a crummy route and that's why the ball fell. Maybe also the ball was hit harder and carried farther than the right fielder thought it was going to off of.
Well, that's exactly what happened. He ran in on the ball. He thought that ball was he was gonna be able to catch it 5 feet in front of where the ball path actually was, and he got burned on it. And you're right. And it's because Volpe hit the piss out of the ball and it just kept going and carrying on him. And it just wasn't right off the bat. So the kid's adding he's adding that gap power, which I love. And that was one of the things that I was
right center field.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball again, on a line hard.
I'm not saying this to be, dragging and beating a dead horse, but the Cam Maben middle of the field approach is exactly what he's doing. That's exactly this. You're hitting the line, you're hitting line drives up the middle, and you're kind of taking the pitch where it is. And I love the fact that Juan Soto is on this team to influence, a young Anthony Volpe as well, because the way that Juan Soto hits, minus the power that Juan Soto has, is the approach that Volpe should be taking. Like that fit this Anthony Volpe, it fits his game so well because of the speed that he has too. And the fact that the Yankees do need a leadoff hitter, and I think a prototypical guy who can get on, but also get on by multiple ways, through the base hit, through the walk because of the pitch recognition now. And now you have a guy who you got to think about at first base a little bit more too, because he's hopping around doing a bunch of bullshit, and just giving the opportunity for that pitcher to make a mistake and groove a fastball or something over the plate to Juan Soto or Aaron Judge. So it's a perfect setup for him.
I just love the top of this lineup so much right now with Volpe, Soto, and Judge. And Judge also had a good weekend. He had a couple doubles on Saturday, hit the massive 3-run home run on that was Sunday's game. So he's starting to look much better at the plate. But 1, 2, 3, like that is, you can already envision like for the rest of the year, hopefully the next decade, as 1, 2, 3 in the lineup. Like, God, you think back to last year, they were searching, grasping at straws, especially when Judge was out. Who's hitting leadoff? Where are we going to hit? Who's going to hit? It's just, they had nothing, no consistency. And to have that consistency, and I know Stanton's had some moments so far. Rizzo has been pretty inconsistent at the plate. He had a big hit yesterday that ended up
he's been consistent, just he hasn't had as much power.
He has like a 720 OPS. He's not been very good.
He's still been making good contact with the ball. Even yesterday, that there was a curveball that he drove in to the outfield that was just one of those impossible hitting feats that he did. He just kind of served it up the middle. He still got that.
Well, what's going on with Rizzo though?
I don't know, but I'm kind of saying that as a precursor so that people stop looking at just the head stuff, because he's hitting the ball, making good contact.
Well, but like, I'm not saying that he's still concussed and that's why he's making these errors. I don't know what it is. Like, is this fielding yips or something? Like, what's going on? Because this is not something Rizzo has ever done in his career. Just botching easy plays at first base. He's made 4 errors so far this year. I think he made something like 5 errors all of last year and then 4 errors all of the year before. So he's already matching his error total. And these are easy routine plays that he is just dropping, booting, not making.
Yeah, no, they are very routine plays, no doubt about it. And he makes them in his sleep normally. So I don't know why it's happening. But again, like, I'm not going to go down the path of he's not right in the head. I know a lot of people are starting to think that, but the offense to me is not showing that. The way that he's seeing some of these pitches and making contact is not showing me that. But I don't know. It could just be it could be some type of yips, because these are simple. These are easy plays,
right?
These are easy plays that he absolutely makes with no doubt about it. So
we also talked about, it's not even just the easy plays. He's also the type of first baseman that saves errors from fielders.
Yeah, he improves the offensive defense and the numbers of the offense. I'm sorry, the defense of the infield. He's a guy that improves the defense of the infield numbers.
Scooping balls,
like,
doing the swipe play on errant throws, just kept vacuuming everything towards him, and he's not even close to that.
The plays that we have been seeing him botch, simple ground up scoops that he again does in his sleep. The swipe tag that he missed the other week. Those are things that he does all the time, and you don't see the error in the books at that point. You don't see the base runner at that point, because he usually saves that. So
Boone said,
maybe there's some rust, man. That's what I'm shake the rust off.
Boone said he's been okay. Usually he's so good. He's probably not scooped a couple of balls that he typically would. I think that's just a couple of plays. I expect the same elite defense we usually get. I agree, Aaron. I expect the same elite defense we usually get. And if we don't start seeing that elite defense, I'm going to have to question what the hell is going on, Anthony Rizzo, because this is not the type of player you are. You want to say you need to get into the rhythm of a season offensively, fine, but like, you can't be botching these simple plays. Like, this infield defense, which we're going to talk about, has literally been an Achilles heel of this team, and what was the reason they were not able to secure that comeback yesterday. We're going to talk about that, but before we do that, the Yankees are about to play 3 games in Toronto. Then they come home for 3 against Tampa and 4 against Oakland. Game Time will surely have the lowest price tickets available for that homestand, and especially those Oakland midweek games, because Oakland is a dumpster fire, and you can probably find some tickets for like $5 in those midweek games. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, meaning buying tickets to a baseball game on Game Time is easier and faster than ever. The Game Time app has a ton of cool features. My personal favorites are the flash deals, so you can just find the best available priced ticket in the section that has the best flash deals, all in pricing. So there's no surprise fees at checkout, and also seat views, which are real pictures from people who bought tickets in that seat, took a picture, uploaded it to Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for sporting events, but you can also find tickets for concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less money, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account and redeem code BRONX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We mentioned Rizzo and his 4 errors. The team overall has 16 errors, which ranks 13th out of 15 teams in the American League. All of the errors have come from infield or pitchers or catchers. Rizzo 4, Oswaldo 3, Volpe 3, Gleyber 2, Birdie 1, Stroman 1, Trevino and Wells 1 each. Outs above average, Rizzo is -1. Gleyber is actually +1. Volpe is +2. Cabrera is -3. It's less about the advanced stats, which I think time will also tell how this infield is on an advanced metrics basis. It is the lack of execution on plays that this team should make in its sleep that worry me more. Specifically, like we talked about Rizzo, but Volpe has made a couple of bad throws where he's just been rushing the ball, maybe looking runners back at third base, rushing the ball, made a bad throw. Gleyber, we saw the same thing in the first doubleheader game. Could have cost him the game. He just rushed a throw. It was wild. That's how Cleveland scored their 2 runs. And then that play yesterday, which was not an error in the 10th inning, infield in, ball hit right to Gleyber. He tries to do too many things at once, tries to throw the ball before he even receives the ball, bobbles it, run scores, game's tied, Cleveland ends up winning. That ball is any second baseman at any professional level needs to be able to make that 10 times out of 10. Okay?
Yeah, the play is infield is in. He's got we know where the play is. The play's at home, and he just didn't glove it cleanly. That's it. It was, and then he looked up and tried to grab it to throw it. Didn't have the grip on the ball, and you had a guy. Josh Naylor was running, right? He had a bad jump, not fast. He was dead at the plate. If he fields it cleanly and makes a if
he takes his time, fields the ball cleanly, and makes a good throw to home, he is out by a full step. That's all you need to do.
100%. That's exactly it. Yeah, it wasn't a good play.
So what do you make of this infield defense?
I think it goes back to the Rizzo conversation. Frankly, a lot of it is I think that when you see you get rid of these 4 errors, I don't know where 12 puts us in the American League, but if you get rid of the 4 errors by Rizzo and probably, if Rizzo is in his normal,
I think he catches one of the Oswaldo,
probably catches 1 to 2
balls.
of those.
Yeah.
Yep. The Volpe tag. So you're looking at 4 to 6 errors that right now we can contribute to Rizzo just not being totally right. I think this is exactly what we said. He's the MVP on the defense in the infield. And if he's not playing that way, everybody else suffers because they know that they have a lot more room for error with a guy like Rizzo over there. And I think that is part of it. Gleyber has made some bad throws. The one across his body where he tried to take that second or that double play himself. And then obviously the one at home where he botched it, but
that's not an error.
I'm not overly
concerned.
The
one wasn't counted as the infield in one.
Yeah. And that should have been.
That's not an error.
And that should have been because it was an error. But and then the other piece of this is that Oswaldo Cabrera is playing third base, a significant amount of the time. You have John Birdie over there who's on the 10-day IL now. Hopefully he's back soon. There's some type of a strain.
Left groin strain. Boone said he doesn't think it's severe, but he doesn't have a timetable. So it could be 10 days. It could be 100 days.
And that's a feel thing. When the guy is back in action, he will the feel will let us know. So that means Cabrera's over there, and offensively, that's great because he's been absolutely crushing the ball. The kid's been unbelievable. But we know what he is defensively. He's not an elite defender at any position. He's a an average, if not below average. I don't know where the numbers shake out on him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's, a couple ticks below average.
Well, he's been -3 outs above average. Logan, could you look up what he was in his career at the different positions? So for these types of guys, these super utility players, the advanced metrics never
because they don't have
kind
enough
to them, because the sample is always low. One day you're playing left field, the next day you're playing third base, the next day you're playing second base. It's just like, how do you ever get into a rhythm?
Yeah, and which makes sense, but eye test here is he's not an elite defender by any means. No. He's league average, if not, I would say he's below league average probably, is my gut saying that. So he's also there at third base every day, which is going to hurt your defense. Anytime you have to sub Cabrera for DJ LeMahieu, defensively you're going to suffer. And
DJ at third base though was not elite,
but he makes the throws, and he has when the plays hit to him, he makes the play. He doesn't have the range as some guys do, but he makes the plays that are there, and he normally makes the throws.
Yeah, DJ's not -3 outs above average at third base. That's true. Logan,
in 2023. Oswaldo was -2 outs above average everywhere, and he was -1 in left field, -1 at shortstop, +2 at third base, and -2 at second base.
How much time did he play third base last year, though?
My guess would say not that much, but
not a ton. Yeah, that's the thing. You take those averages though. That's kind of where I thought he would be.
And also, he didn't he ended up. I guess he played a lot. Yeah, he played 115 games last year. Last year he played.
Most of it was left field, though.
Yeah, he played 15 games at third base last year, 51 games in left field, 49 games in right field, 92 games in the outfield.
God, he played 49 games in right field.
Wow,
that outfield was such a dumpster fire when Judge was out. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough to even get on him because of what he's doing on the offensive side. So
I'm not getting on him. I'm getting
no,
on...
I know. I'm saying it is tough to do that. If anybody is talking negatively about him, he's doing his job, in spades right now.
The problem with this infield defense so far, like you said, has been Rizzo. It's been Gleyber's and Volpe's mistakes that can't happen. You can't have your double play tandem, because also another play from yesterday that wasn't an error is Volpe trying to do the quick exchange on a double play ball, and he just bobbles the exchange. Is a ball hit to Gleyber. Good clean feed to Volpe trying to turn a double play, and on the transfer just bobbles it out of his hand, and that's only 1 out instead of 2 outs. That's not an error anywhere in the scorebook, but that's an out you just gave Cleveland.
Yeah, so I think that here's my take on it is that we're going to see these numbers completely flip on their head, because I think Rizzo is going to be just fine and the guys will settle in.
Well, how does Rizzo affect that transfer play at second base, or the ball that Gleyber can't just come up with and throw to home? Like, those are.
I'm not saying that those are still going to happen. You're still going to have. I mean, guys make errors. Errors are going to happen. It's part of the game. The overall landscape of the infield, though, is going to look significantly better by the numbers, I think, because of Rizzo, getting to the form that he normally is. Unless something else is going on here, and I'm not going down that path. There's no reason to say that Rizzo isn't going to clean these things up, because that's who he is and that's what he does. And when that happens, we're going to see more. We're still going to see errors. They're going to happen, but the narrative across the infield, I believe, will be shifted, because Rizzo's going to, take care of a lot of that.
So before we started recording, we were talking about the bullpen and how this actually translates to or relates to the infield defense, because this bullpen, there's some great stats that have been going around. I pulled some from Chris Kirschner in The Athletic, but I know they were also going around Twitter, that the Yankees bullpen has not been able to miss bats. Each of the Yankees regular relievers has a strikeout rate below the current major league average, and the Yankees bullpen overall has the lowest strikeout percentage and the third worst strikeout to walk percentage in Major League Baseball. And what that means is more balls in play. They have some sinker ballers in the bullpen. Clay Holmes we're going to talk about his numbers specifically, but his ground ball percentage has been really good. But what that means is balls have been hit in play into the infield, and the infield is 16 errors and is booting some simple plays. And that's just so much traffic on the bases. And also the bullpen is just out there all the time. And so there's just every inning, it seems like there's 1 or 2 guys on every time this bullpen is out there.
Yeah, so that's the other piece of this, is that they are getting more opportunities when you have the bullpen out there that are not missing bats. They're almost pitching to contact. I mean, Clay Holmes, he can get the strikeout, but yeah, he
Not
pitches
this
to
year.
he
Can't.
gets the ground ball. He has been able to in the past. You're right. He's not getting it now, but he's a ground ball pitcher. This is what he does. And he's able to put the ball in a position where guys have a very difficult time lifting it. And early in the season, or the first week of the season, there were some hard hit balls that found the holes and made it look worse. But he's getting the ball on the ground, so these numbers might be inflated because of that too.
That's why he's mitigated damage though, because he's pitched 8 innings, he's given up 8 hits, he's hit 2 batters, he's walked 1 guy, which is good because he was snake bit by the walks in previous years, but he's not walking a lot of guys this year. No earned runs. I think he's given up 3 runs, but they were scored on errors. Thank Anthony Rizzo for those errors in Arizona. Yeah. But if you look at his advanced metrics, his expected ERA is 4.22. And that's because as a short reliever, when you give up a hit an inning, your expected ERA is not going to be low when you're giving up a hit an inning, plus now 1 walk, 2 hit batters. Okay. So let's count.
Does the expected ERA go in? Does the amount of balls that are amount of contact go into that expected ERA as well?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're a ground ball pitcher, your expected ERA is going to be higher anyway.
And let's bring this full circle. That's exactly why pitching analytics and everything in baseball is like, don't even bring that into play. Just strike the guy out, because then expected ERA can't even be a factor if you strike a guy out.
Yeah, but again, like. That makes sense by the numbers. Statistically, that says yes, strike the guy out. Then the expected ERA doesn't come into play because the guy's putting it into play. But guess what? A lot of times, getting the ground ball is the more efficient and better way to go. You want that ground ball, because I will take the percentage of him getting the ground ball all the time rather than going deep into counts, trying to find that perfect pitch and him striking out. Clearly, that's been part of his struggles when he loses the strike zone. Maybe he's trying to strike too many guys out at that point, and that's not the natural thing that he does.
I was alluding to the pitcher injury thing from last episode.
Oh, right.
As to why pitchers, not just starters, but also relievers, because I'm gonna go to a 3-2 count and then strike a guy out, throwing a 99 mile fastball or
it's part of the conversation.
Spin rate slider, and that's not sustainable on an arm versus just getting a ground ball double play on the second pitch.
It's definitely part of the conversation, but yes. So when your bullpen is not striking people out and giving up, a good amount of ground balls, and then your infield is not playing well, it's gonna cause an issue.
Logan, there's a stat on this thing I pulled from Clay Holmes on a StatCast page. Extension. Does that mean allowing hitters to get extension? Like, what is extensions?
Extension is, I believe, like how far his release point is off the mound. Like
so
how far he's extending.
Can you look that up? Because he's 12th percentile in the league, which is bad.
We're rating how far the guy releases the ball at this point.
I don't know why would that
we have a dick measuring competition next?
But I don't see why that.
Yeah, extension quantifies exactly. Where did it just go?
So it's basically
quantifies exactly how much closer a pitcher's release point is to home plate. Taller pitchers with longer wingspans tend to have longer extensions.
Which would mean a 94 mile an hour fastball from a guy that has a long extension will jump on a batter.
But someone like Marcus Stroman is never going to have good extension,
right? Because he's a short guy.
Yes,
right.
He's got
to work harder.
Good job.
He's got to work.
You got it.
Much harder. He's compact.
But it's just like I was thinking, like Clay Holmes, man, is he having a weird season? You look at these numbers. Expected ERA and expected batting average, not good. Fastball value, really good. Average exit velocity, really good. Chase percentage, whiff percentage, strikeout percentage, not very good. Walk percentage, very good. Barrel percentage, not very good. Hard hit percentage, kind of middle of the pack. Ground ball percentage, basically the best in the league, 99th percentile. And then extensions, which we just learned what extensions mean, not very good. So it's like everything's either dark red or blue.
I feel like extension should be part of like the bio numbers that you're giving instead of a statistic in how they're doing it. We're measuring that as if the performance is dictating where his extension is. I don't know. It's a weird thing to put in there. It doesn't fit. Which
That's
one
why
of these
I
things
thought it was
doesn't
batter
belong?
like allowing batters to get their. But I don't really know what extension really means as a batter. Like get your arm, because you've heard that term before, right? Like, oh, the batter got his arms extended on that one.
Well, yeah, but again, I don't even know how you measure. I don't know. Whatever. It's
Hey,
just like, let's just add on more things that are odd.
we're gonna measure
The fact
everything,
that he's not walking,
everything.
he's ground ball percentage of 99 percentile, walk percentage of 92 percentile is outstanding. And I don't care about the K rate as much, because when you see that they're not hitting the ball hard on him either, then the other thing, the ground ball should come into play a lot more often, right? Like those are plays that you should make.
They should. But what happens when your entire bullpen is filled with those guys?
Yeah, oh, for sure. It doesn't work. And especially when those guys, they're not significant arms out there. I don't know how many times I've, this is one of those things that I'm looking at from the beginning of the season. And we were talking about it is from the get-go. There's a bunch of dudes out there. There's no one out there that makes me feel great. And that the bunch of dudes is going to get hyper-focused. We're going to hyper-focus on this as the season goes on, because they're going to get taxed. They're already getting taxed, and they're just not that good individually. You have some guys that have had very good success. Ian Hamilton's one of them. Clay Holmes has had enough where you feel okay about it, but everybody else down that list, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a clean book on success from those guys. I know Caleb Ferguson and Gonzalez have had some, decent years with the Dodgers, but those are not guys that you can rely on for an entire year. But come July, this is going to be, I think, a glaring issue, and Cashman's going to have to be very aggressive.
I mean, we've been saying this, literally, we've been saying this from spring training. I want to play a game with you in a second, but first, if you're looking for a great pair of pants this spring that you can wear to work, on the weekends, or to a nice occasion, then you should check out Doer. Doer jeans don't just look great, they also feel great. They're by far the most comfortable jeans I have ever owned. Doer makes stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel for men and women. Their timeless styles are unlike traditional denim because they are made from natural fibers for high stretch, breathability, and moisture absorption. It's the perfect mix of comfort, style, and stretch. I have a pair of the Performance Denim Heritage Rinse. They fit and look great. They're perfect for work, running errands, and also going out to a nice dinner. I finally washed them, Scott. First time, washed them after wearing them too many times probably. But you know what's great? Sometimes you wash a pair of jeans and then they just tighten up on you.
They get real tight, yeah.
Doer, the material just kept the exact fit as if they were broken in from the 10 wears. That's out
impressive.
Of the wash.
You don't have to do
they felt
you don't have to do 30 squats to get them work back in.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's, if you have an issue out there with your jeans, and once maybe you don't want to wash your jeans because then they come out of the wash and then just hugging your nuts, not with Doer. Upgrade your wardrobe with a pair of Doer jeans today. Use our link for 20% off, shopdoer.com/Bronx. That is spelled DUER. You can also check out their flagship stores in LA and Denver. Once again, shopdoer.com/Bronx for 20% off. Do not miss this amazing deal. Thank you, Doer. All right, let's play this game. On a scale of I can put my feet up, relax, and sip my beer, to I have to stand up and pace around my room, how do you feel when each of these guys is on the mound for the Yankees?
Before you go there, let me give you a little show of appreciation. I hate the percentage numbers on these stupid things. So the fact that you change that up into real world context, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Makes it more believable for me.
I'm learning after 10 years of podcasting with you. Okay, so let's start with Clay Holmes because we just did a deep dive on him.
Yeah. So I'm feeling okay. But I'm watching every pitch. I'm watching for his location and I'm watching every pitch. So I'm not sitting there feeling great. The game's not locked up, in my opinion. I need to see how it is.
Who was it that hit the leadoff double against him on Saturday in the first game? He gave up a leadoff double or a 1-out double, I think it was, in the 9th inning that he pitched. Anyway, so it's just it seems like every time he's on the mound, you're a little bit nervous. Obviously, comparatively,
nervous isn't the right word. I'm just watching. I'm very much engaged because, if they're hitting the ball really hard on the ground and they're finding holes, then it's a different day for him.
It just doesn't ever seem easy it's never really seems that easy for him. And
yeah, but I think he's like generally looked good, and I haven't felt in a bad. Even the first week, when they were in Arizona, like I shook that one off because, again, if you're getting the ground balls, it's for the most part a good thing, and you're going to be able to turn those into outs.
So you're
my
sitting
big
up
thing
on the
for him
couch.
is if he's walking. If he starts walking guys,
He hasn't
starting
done
to
that
inch
yet.
towards
One walk
right.
so far this year. If
That's
he starts
my-
walking guys and starts giving up a hidden inning and all those balls, then we're gonna have an issue.
I inch further to the edge of the couch when
your
when
phone
I start
down.
to see his location.
You're putting your phone down. You're not scrolling Twitter. You're watching every pitch. You're engaged.
Which I try to do anyway at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about Hamilton?
I feel really good with him right now, actually. I feel really good. I feel I think he's fun to watch, so I'm watching and engaged just because I think he's an enjoyable pitcher to watch. And he looks like a Peaky Blinder. So I think that's cool. And
He does.
Yeah. And
have you made that reference before?
I don't know. It's him and Marinaccio. I think both look like Peaky Blinders. You could see Hamilton could be the brother, and then Marinaccio's the lead guy. I can't think of his name right now. But
Marinaccio's not Irish.
It doesn't matter. I'm just going purely by looks. Ian Hamilton right now to me is the most dependable guy in the bullpen.
More dependable than Holmes.
Yes. I feel good, but I like the position that he's in. If he's the guy that we're going to extend a bit and he's going to, start going 2 innings and he's that Loaizaga, Chad Green clone that they were trying to get, I feel like that's a much better position because I want him pitching more.
How about Ferguson? Because Ferguson's come up in some big spots so far for the Yankees.
Turd Ferguson, I got zero confidence in.
All right, so you're in the middle of your living room. You are pacing around. You are not comfortable.
I don't like his name. I'll say that right now. I don't. I think of Ron Burgundy every time I see his name. And then, I don't know. He I don't think he does a lot of things great. And I think there's you could put the ball in play with him and hit it harder. So I don't feel great when he's in the game.
Something tells me you're not going to feel great for the rest of these guys. Santana, Weaver, Gonzalez, Marinaccio, Cousins. I mean, it's just like
Cousins isn't even on the team anymore.
Whatever.
But the Santana's looked, I think, okay. At least he's got a little bit of pop. He has something to get excited about. Another guy that needs to be able to find the strike zone, but he's got some action. Like his stuff looks pretty good. Ferguson's stuff just doesn't do anything for me. Gonzalez, same thing. Like it's just when I'm looking and evaluating a bullpen based on how they feel, I want late action. I want good movement. I want them to be able to come out there with a little bit of an attitude. And I just don't see that with this group. Ian Hamilton has it. He's got an attitude. He could throw the kitchen sink at you. Even Holmes has, you could see that intensity and focus on. That's what I want from the bullpen guys. And I'm just not there right now.
Well, I mean, supposedly Canley's going to come back at some point soonish. Efros, summertime, maybe.
I have no idea what Efros is going to be after the arm injury when he came back from, and then all of a sudden there was a back thing and he had to have surgery in the offseason. So Efros to me is a complete TBD. I'm sure the Yankees feel this way as well. The back surgery was something that came out of nowhere and was not on the on the to-do list for his offseason. So who knows how he comes back from that? Is it mechanical because of what went on with his arm, and now this is something that they have to deal with? I don't know. Canley, we know if Canley's pitching and he's healthy, he's a one of the more trusted guys out there. He could pitch to righties and lefties. I love Tommy Canley. I want him to be out there. His emotion is amazing. I love everything about Tommy Canley. So I do think the Yankees need him at full strength, at full health for the duration of the season. He's a big piece coming back.
You mentioned something before we started recording. You said it doesn't feel like they built this bullpen.
Right. I agree.
It's just like there's the collection of guys is who was left.
It feels like they assembled a guys to pitch in the bullpen rather than going out there and pitching and building a bullpen to a strength.
In the action movies when they get the team together, this is the worst assembly of a team you've ever seen in an action movie. It's like, who's available? Well, my cousin Eddie is he's not doing anything tonight, so he's got a car. Sometimes it breaks down, but he could drive.
The fact that they didn't sign Wandy Peralta is still, to me, one of the bigger blunders of the offseason. He was just such a dependable guy that all the things that I was just talking about, I get from a guy like Wandy Peralta. Even if he's having a bad day and he's a couple guys on, like, I still feel like he's going to get out of that inning. He gave me that feeling. And maybe I just don't know these guys well enough yet, which I don't, and none of us do. There's a lot of guys that we have not seen pitch in the Pinstripes for a long time. So, maybe they will surprise. But I will say, like, some of these guys that Cashman has been right on, that have come into the bullpen, have been effective. They've been pretty effective from the beginning, have they not? Like,
yeah, but you always get the surprise guys that you are. But
the surprise guys have been really good from the beginning. Ian Hamilton, good from the beginning. Clay Holmes,
yeah, but you don't feel good about them at the beginning. It takes time for them to prove, like, oh, this isn't.
That's my point. We're coming up a month in, and
we're not coming up a month in. We're barely 2.5 weeks into the season.
Fine, 3 weeks into the season. I still don't know these other guys. Whereas the other one, the guys that we felt good about,
it's half a month.
But even coming out of spring training, there's a little bit of a thing. You feel it. You know what I'm saying here.
But there's
a litmus test when you can feel these relievers. Ian Hamilton, we saw him coming out of spring training, even his first one, and we're like, okay, I can get excited about this guy, and then he proved that.
Another big error though is like a linchpin was going to be Jonathan Loaizaga. It's like, really? You're putting your linchpin like in that guy who's always injured?
It never made sense.
Yeah.
So again, this bullpen feels mishmash put together.
Slapped together, which is not something I even said, like, as the devil's advocate in that conversation in spring training, I was like, let's give Cashman the benefit of the doubt in one area. It's going to be the bullpen.
Right. But too many. And that's been my point the entire time. There's too many of those guys. Your entire bullpen is those guys.
I know.
Legitimately. Two have been proven.
Yeah.
And now the entire bullpen are those guys. The entire thing. Not one other guy hasn't been a Cashman, resurrection or project that, to his credit, Matt Blake has done the job, and they've been able to seat those two guys out that have done really well. But the entire bullpen now is made up of those guys.
And then the guys that we're hopefully relying on coming back and adding to the bullpen are just that. We have to rely on them to come back from injury and be effective. Could happen, sure, but it's not a given by any means.
Tommy Kahnle's not going to come back for the entire year and just pitch clean and not have a bullpen stint. Like, that's just that's what he does. You can
an injury stint.
Yes.
Hopefully
this is it. This is the one.
Hopefully.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen, I'm not saying definitely. I'm saying hopefully. Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like us, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. That's why I am excited Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of the EE System yet, then you want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in the New York City area or hundreds of other locations around the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you are interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/Bronx to learn more and find a center near you. That is spelled UNIFYD healing.com/Bronx. No material or testimonial on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System. Hey, Scott, remember when we used to alternate doing ad reads?
I'm waiting for you to tap me. I'm good to do it.
I remember the first ad read we ever did. I won't mention the sponsor since they're not a sponsor anymore. It took us like 5 takes to do it because we were just so out of our element. This was way back in like 2016 probably, when we just could not nail the ad read.
I'm trying to think of who it was, but
this product you use to shave your face.
Got it. My face. That's not what it's meant for.
All right. So, anything else you want to touch on from the Guardians series before we preview a bit of the Blue Jays series coming up?
The Juan Soto bunt.
Juan Soto bunt. Frame the Juan Soto bunt.
Frame the Juan Soto bunt.
About,
that's the type of shit that gets me excited because I see a guy that will do whatever he needs to do.
The 3-run jacked dead away center field.
Love that too. No, for whatever reason, it's like the high changeup strikeout pitch gets me excited. The bunt down the line when you have a superstar see that the defense is giving him something and finds it insulting, just lays a bunt down and goes to first base and passes the baton. I love that mentality.
How about Cody Petit giving him 6 innings in a double?
Cody Petit, big. That was a huge. And I was wondering. I had asked because I didn't see the Boone explanation for why Heel was not passed up, but like pushed a couple of days. And thinking now and why they did it, it does make sense because if you have the opportunity to add another roster player and try to get innings out of said roster player, then you should probably take advantage of that. And he did exactly what they needed as a pitching staff. Like he came in there, threw 6 innings, pitched very cleanly, and gave them a little bit of breathing room. So now we have Heel lined up for Toronto.
Right, Heel's pitching on Monday. And he would have pitched actually on Saturday. So they bumped him, right? Heel was supposed to pitch.
Yes, he was supposed to. It was going to be him and McKenzie going because I circled that matchup as one to watch. And by the way, McKenzie looks. I'm expecting him to go on the IL at any moment now because his fastball was at 89, 90, 91 miles per hour. He did not look right. Couldn't throw strikes.
His body language was so terrible.
Yeah,
too.
something's up with him. And he's a fun guy. He's a. When I'm looking at other teams and other players to watch that I think are fun to watch, like he's got all the ability in the world, and he's one of those guys. But he looked like a shell of himself.
So the Yankees are going to play Toronto. Toronto's 500 in last place. They are 500 though. So take the last place with a grain of salt. It's going to be Heel versus Bassett on Monday. Heel pitched against Toronto when they came to the stadium. 4 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. Couple of interesting I guess not for against Bassett. I mean, certainly guys have a lot of sample size. No one's really has great numbers. Judge is 2 for 9, Stanton is 2 for 4, Glaber's 1 for 9. And then on Tuesday it's Carlos Rodon versus Kikuchi. Kikuchi had a really good start against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. He gave up 3 hits and 1 run. But interestingly, like Yankees have really good numbers off of Kikuchi. Judge is 5 for 20 with 2 home runs. Glaber is 10 for 25 with a home run. Verdugo is 6 for 15. Like those are some pretty gaudy numbers against a starting pitcher, but they just weren't able to hit him. Stanton's 1 for 16, and Rizzo is 1 for 12. Stanton honestly must have just caught Kikuchi at like one of those times Stanton couldn't swing the bat because that seems like a pitcher Stanton would eat for lunch.
Yeah, 100%. He's a different guy this, even last year into this year than he had been because he was extremely hittable his first couple of years up. And even that first year in Toronto, he just wasn't what they were expecting. And he's to his credit, made a nice rebound and turned into a solid starting pitcher. So those numbers might be a little skewed anyway, too, from the early matchups against Kikuchi, who seemingly has figured something out, in the way that he pitches and the way that he approaches the guys in this on this team.
And then on Wednesday, it's Stroman versus Gausman, hoping Stroman bounces back from his bad quote unquote start last time out against Toronto. I mean, it's certainly the worst of his 3 starts of the season. He pitched 6 innings, 3 hits. Oh wait, no, sorry. His bad start came against he pitched well against Toronto in his first time out. That was Yankees opening day. And then he started against who did I forget? I'm drawing a blank on who they played. Right,
it was his last time out. It was his last time out. He was laboring, and that was just what he. But he gritty as all hell and stayed the course for as long as he possibly could. He's a guy again that was competing, so I expect him to hopefully find it. It was against Miami,
right?
Against a team that you wouldn't expect anybody to struggle with, but he just couldn't. He didn't have the strike zone. He didn't have his release point. and still gutted through 5 innings, I think.
Gausman was terrible against the Yankees.
Gausman was really bad.
Yeah, and he's usually pitched pretty well against the Yankees. I mean,
very well against the Yankees.
Such a large sample.
Scoreless against the Yankees.
Judge has 32 at-bats against them. He's 10 for 32. Rizzo has 22 at-bats. Stanton has 18 at-bats. Like, God, they've faced him so many times.
Yeah. I mean, he's been around for in both leagues too. So with the Orioles, obviously when they played them, 17 times a year,
Giants
and then the Giants for Rizzo. So you're seeing, but again, man, if he's right and he's got that heavy sinker then he's tough, but he's was missing his locations the last time up and just leaving the ball up and over the plate. If he's up, then it's bad news for him.
All right, Yankees, clean up that infield defense. How about it?
Clean up that Yankee, that would be nice.
Anything else?
They're going to continue to give them opportunities. That's the beautiful thing about the bullpen. They're going to give the infield all the opportunities in the world to bounce back and
that's
show
what the bullpen's doing. They're just giving them infield practice.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because remember, Boone doesn't do practice.
No, there's no fungos at
there's
Yankees.
no fungos. No. So maybe fungos can come back. But again, that's what you're getting from innings 6
That's
through
what I
9.
want to see, right? You want to see some tweets from the beat writers at 1:00 in the afternoon today. Just Yankees taking fungos.
Yeah, 100%. Just Boone just lasers on the 2 hoppers
on the turf in Toronto.
Yeah.
Is that still turf or is that real grass now? Still turf? I don't know.
It opens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it opens. I mean, it used to literally be just the green painted pavement.
I remember.
But then I think they put that artificial turf in. So it's still probably pretty fast. All right, that's going to wrap up today's show. We'll be back at you again after the Blue Jays series.